Today we're taking a look at the Los Angeles Clippers vs Phoenix Suns match, which is happening on Sunday, June 20th, 2021, and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. 5 plans are available for each and every one of you. You can get 30 extra betting picks all the way up to 270 extra betting picks per month. Stop wasting hours and hours of your time searching the internet for some fake betting predictions and losing your money because of it. Join High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks and advices instantly. With Leonard, 30.4 ppg in the playoffs, out with a knee sprain, somebody had to step up to beat Utah, and that player was Paul George. The veteran wing can do it all. He's a quality defender, strong slasher, and pretty good three-point shooter. But he's had mixed results in postseason with the Clippers, Thunder, and Pacers. The self-proclaimed playoff P averaged 29.2 points against Utah and helped them come back from a 25-point third-quarter deficit to stun the Jazz at home in Game 6. Kawhi Leonard has already been ruled out for Game 1 on Sunday, but his overall availability still remains a mystery. Of course, the Clippers can't afford to be worried about what's going to happen with Leonard. They have to focus on finishing the task at hand, and that's blotting out the Suns. Paul George has to continue to elevate his level of play and keep it at a superstar level. I know he's typically the punchline around this time of the year, but you have to respect what he was able to accomplish throughout his previous series with the Jazz. Not only did he step up his game, but he got others around him like Terrence Mann, Reggie Jackson, and Marcus Morris Sr. to step up as well. That must continue against a Suns team with the league's 7th-ranked defense. It's another outing for the Clippers to distribute the ball well and get it to the open man for higher percentage shots. One of the strategies that won the previous series for the team was small ball and basically rendering Jazz 3-time Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert helpless. It'll be interesting to see if Ty Lue comes in with a similar mentality against Suns big man DeAndre Ayton. The mere fact that the Clippers even drew Phoenix with no Paul is testament to the universe bending in their favor. They have come back from being 2 games down in back-to-back series meetings, along with winning their last 2 games without their best player on the floor. Chris Paul has had a first-ballot Hall of Fame career. He hasn't enjoyed much postseason success or any. For him to land on the COVID-19 list was brutal, but should return next week at some point. Paul was spectacular in the sweep over Denver, averaging 25.5 points, 10.2 assists, and 1.5 steals. He was helped by the fact that the Nuggets did not have their normal starting point guard Jamal Murray, who was out for the season with a torn ACL. Now, more than ever, the Suns need Cameron Payne to step into Paul's role like he's done so many times already this postseason to deliver the goods. The Jazz had the more talented basketball team on the floor against a Clippers team without Kawhi Leonard, and it still didn't even matter. Reggie Jackson is starting to believe he belongs in these playoffs, and Marcus Morris Sr. has seen enough shots go in to have his confidence back. With the Jazz gone, the Suns are now the best all-around team left in the playoffs. They have a top-ranked defense and an offense averaging 116.0 points per game in their home building. Suns point guard Chris Paul looked impressive against Denver in the Western Conference semifinals as he averaged 25.5 points, 10.2 assists, and 1.5 steals per game in the series. He also has been shooting 44.4% from beyond the arc in the playoffs. Offensively, the Suns averaged 121.5 points per game against Denver, so without Paul, they'll need backup point guard Cameron Payne, 8.4 ppg, 3.6 apg, to step up. Devin Booker, 27.9 ppg, 37.7% 3 pints, has been in the league for 6 years. that this is his first playoff run and he's been tremendous. He'll have more ball handling duties with Paul out, and he's capable of being a creator, finding guys like Aiden and Michael Bridges. 12 ppg. Aiden, 15.2 ppg, 10.6 rpg, will need to step up defensively against Morris when the Clips go small, or he'll have to sit. Jay Crowder, 11.7 ppg, 5.1 rpg, is a strong defender and experienced playoff performer. Just imagine how much more confident Terrence Mann will be after his ridiculous 39-point performance to close out the Jazz. Not having Chris Paul is a huge loss for the Suns in the opener. Cam Payne is an exceptional up-and-comer, but he isn't taking over games like we saw from Paul in Game 4 against the Jazz. But the Clippers have an indomitable will and an entire team that knows how to overcome adversity. Things were so easy for the Suns against the Nuggets that it's almost a concern when heading into this game. Being a more battle-tested team could be what ultimately punches the Clippers' trip to the NBA Finals. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Los Angeles Clippers +4. The Suns announced on Saturday that Paul remains in the league's health and safety protocols. Later that night, it was reported that he is out for Game 1. Keep tabs on his status using our Fantasy Labs Insiders tool. Assuming Paul is out, Cameron Payne will likely enter the starting lineup. When Kawhi Leonard went out with a knee injury after Game 4, few people thought the Clippers had much of a chance of beating the top-seeded Utah Jazz. The Clippers had a decent run, but it would now be over. Yes, Utah was without Mike Conley. But still, it's hard to replace a player like Leonard. But then playoff P. Paul George earned his nickname and carried the Clippers to back-to-back wins over the Jazz without Leonard as the Clippers closed out the Jazz 4-2 to advance to the Western Conference Finals against the Phoenix Suns. But the real shocker of Friday night's 131-119 closeout win over the Jazz was not George, who had 28 points, 9 rebounds and 7 assists. It was not Reggie Jackson, who had 27 points and 10 assists, not was it Patrick Beverley, who got dusted off and delivered 12 points and 3 steals off the bench. No, it was Terrence Mann. Mann got the spot start for Leonard and was very Leonard-like with a team-high 39 points with 7 three-pointers. He'll have to do it again Sunday as Leonard remains out indefinitely. Paul is clearly the engine that moves this team by facilitating the offense while also limiting turnovers. I firmly believe that his presence on the floor this season has elevated Devin Booker because the sharpshooter is not being tasked with being the primary ball handler on every possession. Otherwise, the Suns have been great, blowing past the Denver Nuggets in 4 straight in the second round and getting a full week off to rest. One would hope Paul will be back soon as he has already served a week in the protocol, but it doesn't look great for him playing on Sunday. But keep an eye on that approaching game time. When Paul has been on the floor this postseason, the Suns are plus 11.4 points per 100 possessions, but they're 13.1 points better over the last 6 games when it seemed like Paul had healed up from his shoulder injury. The Suns have held their own without Paul though, and posted positive point differentials with him off the floor as long as Payne has been on the floor. The basketball gods dealt the Phoenix Suns a cruel blow when they determined that Chris Paul, who was fully vaccinated, is out in the league's COVID-19 protocols. He is listed as out indefinitely, which means he probably won't play Sunday, which is just not fair to this Suns team as they will be without their MVP in an all-important Game 1. No timetable has been established yet for his return. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under 221.5. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.